Hey, Rob from Mortar 42 here, and today we're going to review the new documentary on Netflix, The Last Blockbuster. Now, I used to work at Blockbuster for many years, so this was really, really close to my heart and brought back a lot of memories. So, yeah, without further ado, let's just get into it. The Last Blockbuster tells the story of Blockbuster Video, their rise to power in the entertainment industry, and their decline almost to extinction. The movie also delves into the story of Sandi Harding, the manager of the last open blockbuster in the world. Now, I have to say, this was a really, really fun movie. A bit bittersweet for me, since I worked there for so many years, but it was actually interesting to see the from an outsider's point of view, the rise to power, their rise to being the biggest video rental business in the world, all the way down to there only being one left. I mean, it was kind of amazing to watch and fun to see. But then you get all of these other these kinds of glimpses of people's experiences with Blockbuster, whether they were just customers there or they worked there. I mean, we had Kevin Smith, James Arnold Taylor, Ron Funches, Adam Brody, Jamie Kennedy, and Paul Scheer, who actually worked there. It was actually really fun to hear their stories and their experiences and what it meant to go to Blockbuster. I think that's one of the things that I really appreciated about it. I mean, it not only shows the business side of it, right? And how they kind of took over and almost like a virus just took over all of these mom and pop video stores, right? But then showing what it was actually like to go there and to be there, and that it was sort of like this little microcosm of the community, right? Because everybody just went there, sometimes multiple times per weekend. I can tell you, working there were people that were regulars. We'd see them every single Friday night or every single Saturday night. And it was an experience, right? And it was just so much fun. So much fun to talk movies and get to know people and get to know what they like and what they don't like. And it was really cool to see that the documentary took the time to show that side of it, not just the like I said, almost viral way that Blockbuster took over. Again, it's a little strange, when you get to finally see this whole story and how Blockbuster, would buy up the mom and pop video stores, right? And it just became this thing where there were over 9,000 Blockbusters at one point. I mean, that is just insane when you think about it. And yeah, it's a little maybe a little bit of justice, some poetic justice there, that the place where the documentary can be seen is now on Netflix. Maybe one of the reasons why Blockbuster is no longer around. One of the things that I really liked about it was that they showed that maybe it wasn't just Netflix that was the reason for Blockbuster's demise, and it actually was very, very smart to show all of the different aspects of why Blockbuster failed. But really the heart of this story, and I mean it should be, is the manager of that last Blockbuster in Bend, Oregon, Sandi Harding. Her story is so fun to watch, almost sad in a way, because it's just like, oh, please let this Blockbuster stay open. And I don't know about anybody else, but after watching this movie, it's definitely somewhere I want to go, and it's definitely something I want to support, because there's so much love and passion into what she does, and it really is just a beautiful thing. And it's strange how something that could be, Blockbuster in itself could probably be, oh, they're a cancer on the movie industry, and I'm glad they're gone, but then you see the good of what a Blockbuster store could bring to a community, and I just found that awesome. I just find all of that stuff. I mean, it was bringing back all of these memories of how things worked when I was there. And what's really interesting is they're still using the same system. There's a scene where she's having to kind of pillage these older computers for parts. And it's funny because those are the exact computers we had back in 97. I mean, they're literally the same exact ones. And the system looks exactly the same as well. And I remember all of the different functions, and I was sitting there watching the documentary going, yeah, that's how you do that. You go, STA, and it would give you the thing, and you type in the title, and it would show you where it is, how many copies you had, all those things. So it was really interesting to see that system is still being used today. I mean, even in the last blockbuster. Overall, like I said, even though it was a little bittersweet for me, I really enjoyed watching The Last Blockbuster. I highly recommend it. It's one of those things where it's such an easy watch, especially if you're curious about it, or even like for me, for somebody who used to work there, it was really fun to hear what other people had to say about the place that I worked for so long and I loved so much. So I think if I had to give it a rating, I'd probably give it, I'd say like a 3.25 out of 4. So it's definitely recommended. And yeah, you should definitely check it out. Now, I've got tons of stories from working at Blockbuster. I mean, it really was a place where, I mean, I worked there for, I think, 7 years total. Because, I mean, like I left and I came back and left and came back. I really did. I loved working there. It was one of my favorite jobs ever, and probably will always be that. It'll always be the job that I remember the most fondly. But if you'll indulge me, I've got a story that I want to share with you. One of the things they bring up in the in the documentary is people's hatred of the late fees, right? It's due back at a specific time and nobody listens to that, and then they return the movie late, and then you have to pay the late fee and all that kind of stuff. And it was so funny because Blockbuster came up with the term extended viewing fee, which is so, this passive aggressive, almost like overly political correct term for late fee. It's like, come on, it's a late fee. That's what it is. But they called it extended viewing, so that's pretty funny too. But one specific situation that over the years it keeps coming up in my head. It was such a funny thing that happened. So I'm sitting there alone. I'm working the register, right? And a guy comes up with his son, and maybe a couple of movies. I can't remember all the details. But, he scanned the card, right? And it comes up and I said, "Oh, you have a late fee or extended viewing fee of such and such, whatever it was." And he looks at me like he's been waiting for it, right? And he's like, "No, there's no way, because we went to the zoo that day and we returned those movies before we went to the zoo and all this stuff," right? And so I'm sitting there thinking, okay, this guy sounds like this is all rehearsed. It sounds, because that's one of the things, when you work at Blockbuster, you see it all. You see all these different aspects of human behavior, which I found fascinating, and working retail is fun for that purpose alone. But anyway, I'm sitting there and I'm going, this sounds like crap, but there's nothing I can probably do about it. I'll probably just take off the late fee, right? And as I'm going to do this, the little son pipes up and he goes, "But wait, Dad, that's not true. That's not what happened. We returned the movies after we went to the zoo, because remember we did this? We went and got ice cream or whatever." Again, I don't remember all the details, but the kid was obviously telling the truth. And the guy is looking down at his son, and he looks at me, and he looks down at his son, and he goes, "What's the total?" So, and I'm sitting there, because I remember looking at him like, maybe you're telling a fib, And it was a weird thing, because as I'm sitting there and I'm checking him out and I'm, do the whole thing, it's due back tomorrow or whatever day, I'm going through that, and I just thought, such a weird, vindictive kind of, ha ha ha, you got caught in a lie and your son did it. But it got me thinking even more, because there's the look that he gave his son was, obviously he was a little upset because he got caught in a lie. But there was also this, I don't know, this glimmer of pride. Maybe being a good person isn't about always doing the right thing and always, following the rules of all these dogmatic religions or even the law, right? Maybe it's as simple as, thinking about someone that loves you, someone that respects you or looks up to you. And if what you're doing would cause them disappointment, maybe it's that simple. I don't know. So, The Last Blockbuster. I really, really enjoyed it. I'm kind of curious what you all think of it. Leave your comments down below about that, or even if you have some stories. Maybe you worked at Blockbuster. Do you have any other Blockbuster stories you'd like to share? leave those down below and we will talk about it. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.